Hey everyone, it's me Coral. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with the books I've picked out that I think are going to end up being 5-star reads for me. So these are my 5-star predictions for 2020. In 2019, I did not do very well with this challenge. But this year, I'm just going to add one to my TBR every single month until they're done. So hopefully it won't be as much of a problem. And I really don't know what my problem was last year. New year, new me. Haha, how many times have you heard that recently? Okay, the first one I picked out here is Rust and Stardust by Greenwood. This is based on a true story about a young girl who was kidnapped and held captive. I'm not too sure of the fine details of this one, but I really didn't want to search too hard while looking up a summary or a synopsis because I don't want to be spoiled for it. I heard a lot of buzz about this when it first came out and then like nothing afterwards, so either it's like extremely underhyped or not a ton of people liked it. So I guess I'll see which category I think it falls into after I read it. Next up, I have a true crime book. This is The Man from the Train by Bill James. And this is a book this author and his daughter wrote together. They're kind of profiling a killer who committed this like well-known murder way back when, in 1912. But they think that this same person went on to kill many other people, and he was probably somebody who was transient, so they think that he was using the railroad system to kind of kill and get away with it because he'd be gone before. I mean, there was never a chance of anyone catching him, really. I haven't read a lot of true crime lately, which is really kind of makes me sad because it's one of my favorite genres and I don't make the time for it so much anymore, so I really want to stop that, and I hope that this is a 5-star read for me because I've heard it's good. Next, I have Made for Love by Alissa Nutting. I read her book Tampa last year. That was actually one of the 5-star predictions of 2019 that I read, and was actually a 5-star read. So this is her book after Tampa, I believe, and this is about a young woman who moves in with, she's an adult, but she moves in with her kind of elderly dad who is widowed, but he lives with his real-life sex doll. So I don't know more than that. I don't want to know. I really love Tampa because of how kind of like raw and unabashed it was, and I'm hoping that with a less sad, more weird scenario like this one, maybe I will like it even better than Tampa. So we'll see. This cover is so great. It reminds me of like an amusement park spray paint shirt. I'm sure that's exactly what they were going for, but yes, that's Made for Love. Next, I have Contagion by Erin Bowman. This is a YA sci-fi book, but what really interests me is that it has one of those like diseases in space kind of things going on. So this, I don't know what kind of, I don't know, some sort of crew, a search and rescue crew get pinged from the ship, and when they arrive there, there's like nobody alive. And I don't know why. I'm assuming it's some sort of disease. And I guess I'll find out. And I hope I really like this because this plot with the space, like stuck in space with the disease, that's totally my jam. So I'm hoping that this lives up to the hype that I'm giving it right now in my head. Next, I have When Darkness Loves Us by Elizabeth Engstrom. This is a reprint of a vintage paperback book that Valancourt Books has reissued recently. This is part of the Paperbacks from Hell series that they're doing. And this is on my list strictly because of the comments that I've seen other people have about it. Mostly that it's like weird and disturbing, and like I can't not investigate that. So I'm hoping I like this as much as I've seen other people like it. It's 2 novellas. I'm not sure what either of them are about, and I kind of want to keep it that way. So if that interests you, maybe look up the plot of it for yourself, the synopsis, because I don't want to know. Okay, next I have Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. I really meant to read this in 2019. It was on one of my TBRs, but I just had kind of overbooked myself that month, as I did a lot in the end of the year 2019. But this is like a sci-fi horror book. This is like the crew of a mockumentary goes to, you know, make one of those mermaid documentaries that aren't real. And something happens to that crew. So then the story now, we're following people who are going to investigate what happened to that crew, because a lot of people think like it was a hoax. People don't know what happened. So there's killer mermaids, and I really like the documentary style thing. That's always really interesting to me. I really liked that aspect in Last Days by Adam Neville. It was like that too. So I'm hoping that I really like this one. Next I have Fantastic Land by Mike Bockoven. And this is another one that I've heard so many people rave about. This is about a amusement park that gets shut down during a hurricane, I believe. Let me see. Yes, it's a hurricane because this amusement park is located in Florida, so we know something freaky is gonna happen because it's Florida. So it shuts down because of a hurricane, but there are employees that are, I'm not sure if they're like stuck there or they choose to stay there, but they're there. And after the hurricane's done and, you know, people are trying to put together their city again, the survivors are coming out, and obviously something horrific must have happened if there are survivors. So I'm interested in this because of that. I want to know what happened. I want to know because people are saying it's so good. And I also want to know because this is set up in like an interview type of fashion. Like there's the story and then they're interviewing the survivors and stuff like that, which I always like books that are not the typical like narration that we see. So I am hoping this one's good as well. That's why, I mean, all of these I hope are good, I guess. And I'm sure I've said that every time I tell you about a book. All right, I also have My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing, and this is a thriller. I don't know anything about it. I'm assuming it's some sort of domestic thriller, you know, where it's like a husband and a wife kind of a thing. And I've heard a couple people now say that it was one of the best thrillers that they read in 2019 when it came out. So that's why I want to read it. I also really love thrillers, and I just don't read them as much as I should or I want to. So I'm hoping to fix that as well with this list here. So I hope this one is fantastic. Second to last, I have The Grand Dark by Richard Kadrey. And this is like a grim dark fantasy series, or well, I don't know if it's a series. I don't know why I keep calling everything a series. I don't know if it's a series or if it's a standalone. But this is about a city. It seems like it's gonna be like gritty and dark. We're talking about like the underworld. There's like automatons and drugs and sex, and it just seems like it's going to be really interesting and fun. And yeah, I really like the cover. I've not seen anyone talk about it before. I actually picked this up on a Barnes & Noble trip. It just sounds interesting, and that's why I put it on this list. And we'll see if it's 5 stars. And last but not least, I have Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. This is one that I meant to get to last year, another one, and I just haven't. And I hear so many people talk about how great it is, and I think that this is right up my alley. It's about a woman, I think her name is Mira, and she is learning how to become an assassin, something like that. She's an assassin, or she's learning. And that's all I know about it, and that's all I want to know about it, and I hope I like it. Okay, so those are my 5-star predictions for 2020. So, if you want to let me know if you've read any of these, I would love to hear what you thought about them, of course. Even if you didn't like them, that's not going to deter me from reading them. So, go ahead and tell me if you didn't also. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. I will see you guys in another video soon. Goodbye!